Thank you. It is 6:30, and I'd like to call the regular council meeting for Monday, April 27th to order. Before I start, I would like to respectfully acknowledge that we are gathered here on the traditional territories of the Lekwungen-speaking people, represented by the Kasepsin and Songhees nations. We're grateful to live, work, and play in this special place. Item 2 is the approval of the agenda. Slight change in the agenda. Item 7.1 has been withdrawn by Councillor Jordison. So with that amendment, may I have a mover and seconder to adopt today's amended agenda, please? Thank you, Councillor Jensen, Councillor Olsen. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. I have a message here. Before we move into our agenda this evening, I'd like to note that tomorrow, April 28th, is the National Day of Mourning. And what this is, it's a day that's observed across Canada to remember workers who have lost their lives, been injured, or become ill because of workplace incidents. It's also a time to recognize the lasting impact of these tragedies have on families, friends, co-workers, and communities. Here in Colwood, we are proud of the work our employees and contractors do every day to serve this community. Tomorrow is an important reminder that workplace safety matters in every role, in every setting, and that we all share responsibility for ensuring people can return home safely at the end of the day. I encourage everyone to take a moment tomorrow to reflect, to remember those we've lost, and to renew our commitment to safe and healthy workplaces. On that note, I'll move on to item 4, which is the adoption and receipt of the minutes. May I have a mover and seconder for the adoption and receipt of the minutes listed in item 4.1 of the agenda? Thank you very much. Councillor Ward and thank you, Councillor Grove. Thank you very much. Are there any errors or omissions? Seeing none, call the question. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Public participation, item number 5. We had one written submission received prior to agenda publication, and that is attached to tonight's agenda. And we had 3 written submissions that were received after agenda publication and will be appended to the agenda following tonight's meeting. In addition, they will be available on the city's meetings website tomorrow. Like again, I read through each of these submissions, and I'd like to thank the public for their written submissions. I understand we have one member that is, don't see them, is registered to speak virtually. No, are they there?
They have not joined the meeting yet.
Okay.
But they did register to speak.
Okay. So what I'll do is I'll carry on with the general public, the people that are out in the audience tonight. You're allowed to come up at this point in time and come up to the speaker. There's a little button there with the man speaking. Just push that and the red light will go on. And you'll notice that there's a little colored box on the top. So green means you have 2 minutes. Yellow means you have 30 seconds left. Red means you have to stop. Unfortunately, we have to be fair to all the public. Everyone has an opportunity to speak. So if anyone wants to wait until the specific agenda comes up in the agenda, if they want to speak at that time, if you can identify yourself right now. Seeing none, I'm going to assume everyone will speak at this point in time. So at this point in time, I will ask the public to come on up and speak. And welcome to all the new faces here. This is great to see this. I see so many new faces out there, so it's great to see this. So if anyone wants to start, you're quite welcome to come up. Please.
So I was here a couple of weeks ago concerning the fence at 3395 St. Troy Place, and just want to thank you for letting me speak. I appreciate the time concerning the fence at St. Troy Place, and I'm confident that I've covered all the concerns that have been brought up. I want to thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you very much. Next, please. Anybody from the public wish to speak?
Is it on?
Elected.
Grant, 3356 St. Troy. I'm here about that fence as well. I'm a neighbor. I think it has great form and fit for the neighborhood. It looks really good. Secondly, I'd love to see a pair of speed humps on that corner by Marianne on each side of St. Troy. And that's all I got.
Thanks very much, Grant. Next, please.
Hi, everyone. I'm also here to promote the fence at St. Croix Place. I really think it was a safety issue. That was why it was built in the first place. I recognize that there was mistakes made when it was built, and I know that happens. Also recognize the engineering company or division of the city who is doing their job in due diligence, and we respect that. And we just are really hopeful and grateful for any consideration because we think it makes the neighborhood safer. It looks great. We protected the trees. We didn't want to get in the way of the BC Hydro guidelines, and we just hope you guys consider it. Thank you.
So sorry, could I get your name? I didn't get your name.
Apologies, Zoe Graham.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, please. Oh, you turned it off. Okay, you're good. You're hot.
Mayor Kobayashi, members of the council. Hi, my name is Stalker, Rudy Stalker. I'm a resident of Colwood at the top of Triangle Mountain, and I'm here in respect of the land use bylaw amendment for Fulton Road. I sent in a little submission this morning. If you're having trouble sleeping, I would recommend reading through this. But I won't regurgitate the whole thing right now, but there are a number of arguments made here why this site is in fact eminently not suitable for the type of development that's being proposed, and why we should seriously consider not rezoning it at this time for the purpose for which has been requested. You'll hear a presentation later today from the developer talking about a number of the advantages and so on, and it sounds very nice, but when one actually visits the site, one sees the reality of the situation. May I ask if any of you have actually visited this site prior to today? You have, sir. Good. That's excellent. I think you have to stand on the road or on the site itself to really appreciate what it is that I'm talking about in here. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you very
Appreciate
much. Next, please. Oh, you turned it off. There you go.
Lou Bonin, 803 Bexell Place. My property is just straight across from this development on I forget Wishart there. Not Wishart, but the name is Fulton Road. I have a problem with water pressures up there as it is right now. And I see if you're looking at 30 townhouses up there, and more than likely 60 dwellings, because there'd be suites, I'm sure, in each one of them, which adds a lot of density in a very small parcel of land comparatively. And also one of the things is that property backs off right into my property. Like the width of the road that kind of points right into the car goes. If the car goes too far, you end up right in my yard. You know, because it just goes. I bank at my whole yard banks against it. And one of the things is too, it's on the south side of my property. When you get 3 stories, I'm going to be in a lot of shade in the backyard. I'll lose all my sunshine. Worse than what the trees are right now. So I mean, I remember when we were building Claudette Court, quite a few years ago. The person developing that wanted to put a couple of townhouses. There was so much opposition on it, he ended up backing off, and he didn't build a townhouse. And since then, now we're looking at crowning the property there at Triangle Mountain with 30 townhouses, which I think is a little bit on the ridiculous side. It's just way too much and too small of a space, plus keeping the towers. They cut that piece of property was owned by one person or group of people. But as one property, now it's being split in half and building houses on half of it. And still keeping a main tower there, which we did a lot of fighting to try and get rid of those. We ended up gaining one since I moved in there. I've been there 32, 33 years now on Bexwell Place. So I'm totally opposed to it because I guess
I'm gonna have to cut you off. Sorry about that, sir.
I guess I'll let you know that I'm totally opposed to it. I think it's a bit too much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next speaker, please. Whoops, you gotta push the button there, John. No, right there.
Thanks. I just wonder if I can delay my my words until the item comes up on the agenda.
Sure,
Thank you.
absolutely. Okay, next, please. Seeing no more comments, I will close this part of the meeting, the public participation. Thank you very much, everyone, for participating. We're going to move on to item 6, the consent agenda. And at this point in time, we can remove any member of council can remove any item from the consent agenda. And I see Councillor Day, please, Councillor Day.
Thank you. I'd like to pull item 6.3 and item 6.4.
Okay, they will now become 7.4 and 7.5. And because I have questions on the TMP on the survey itself, that's the big issue. I'm going to pull 6.6 off for discussion, and that will become 7.6. Okay. And on that note, can I get a motion to move the consent agenda? Okay, thank you, Olsen, and seconder Jordison. Discussion. Seeing none, motion carries. Thank you very much. Should have called the question. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Thank you very much. Okay, under new business, 7.1 has been pulled. 7.2. We will this was introduced by Councillor Olsen. So Councillor Olsen, if I can get you to motivate, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to motivate for my intent of my motion. I recognize this is typically an operational matter and not something that council would usually be involved in. However, when a resident has reached a point that they're unable to resolve an issue through staff and brings it forward to council, I do believe it's appropriate for us to take a second look, and that's why I'm bringing this forward. I also want to be clear that this isn't about overriding staff or pushing an outcome. This motion simply asks staff to take a closer look and determine whether a path forward is appropriate. Our rules around public space are important and they exist to protect safety, access, and the city's interest. I believe this motion respects those rules. It does not set them aside. It ensures they're carefully applied and based on the specifics of this particular situation. We're not simply just allowing the fence to remain. We're asking staff to confirm 3 key things: that the fence is safe, that it does not interfere with city services or infrastructure, and that the city is protected through an appropriate agreement. If those conditions can't be met, then this does not move forward. But if they can, it allows council to make an informed decision on how to proceed. I also understand the concern about setting precedent, but this motion is intentionally structured to avoid that. It's conditional. It requires staff validation and it comes back with an agreement. Any future request would still need to meet the same standards. Nothing is being automatically approved here. This is clearly a case-by-case decision and staff are being asked to report back with any conditions needed to formalize it properly. Holding off on enforcement while that review happens is also fair. It gives us a chance to make a thoughtful, informed decision rather than rushing to action. At the end of the day, this is about being reasonable, upholding city standards while also working with residents to find solutions when there's no impact to safety, infrastructure, or the public. My motion does not approve anything. It just gets us the information that we need to decide responsibly. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can I get a second, please? Okay, Councillor Ward. Discussion. Councillor Day.
I will support this going forward to get more information, but I do have some concerns in visiting the site. It looked to me as though this does interfere with any opportunity to park on that corner. And I am aware of concerns with encroachment agreements and whether or not insurance is able to be obtained on property that is not owned. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Ward.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just segueing from Councillor Day's comments, I think an encroachment agreement or potential encroachment agreement should look into the insurance requirements. It's not uncommon. I think I'm less concerned about establishing a precedent as this isn't unique. Around British Columbia, Nanaimo, Nelson, Chilliwack, Fernie, Lions Bay, the list is endless of communities that formally allow encroachment agreements, but the insurance component is probably the outstanding piece. And it goes without saying that liability for any removal of the fence would lay with the property owner. And I would also add the caveat that any encroachment agreement should then be registered to title of the property as well, so that it continues on. So if the property is sold, that any future buyer, that would have to be disclosed and they would pick up that liability as well. But as long as those conditions are in place, I'm not fundamentally opposed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sorry. Yeah, can you just put the motion up on the screen, please? It's in the agenda. Anyways, you just repeated it was in the agenda, I believe. You didn't change it. Yeah. In the meantime, Councillor Grove. See more.
Thank you, Mayor. I likewise very much interested in making sure that all these angles are covered, the insurance, etc., the indemnification and any other concerns, and trust that that can be done properly. The notion that it's not setting a precedent, I have a little bit of a difficult time with. On my street alone, there's several people who've been asked to remove various installations in front of their homes that affect the city on the city boulevard. Although more modest, generally, it's often rocks to delineate parking and eliminating the potential for parking from other users. And sometimes it's plantings like trees, small trees that kind of do the same thing. So I think that this might lead to more work on behalf for staff and council. I will support this one in particular. I've heard the discussion in favor and against, and I think I've seen the site, and it's very nicely done, of course. But it was a bit of a conundrum for me to know what to do. So that's my concern. I'm not sure I can offer any more solutions than what we've already heard here in terms of what needs to be done and put in place to make this work. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Councillor Jordison.
Thank you, Mayor. I too am feeling a little bit uneasy about this one. I will support it going forward, but I think this also puts staff in a predicament as well. And the precedent issue, I do disagree that it is sort of setting precedent. I think placing a fence on city property is generally prohibited and considered an illegal encroachment. And I think as a homeowner, there's certain responsibilities that are required of you. I never saw any information about safety issues come forward or anything of that nature in that area. So I just feel like there's a lot of due diligence that hasn't happened here. And I question, I'm a mom and have 3 kids, and we always had a backyard, and that's where our kids played. So I was concerned, like, why you would want them in the front yard of this home. And if it is a concern, the driveway is still open, but it is a beautiful fence. I'm just concerned about the precedent setting here. So, but thank you for bringing it forward.
Okay, thanks very much. Councillor Olsen, before I wrap it up. Councillor Olsen.
Thank you. I just think it's really important to note that Marianne and St. Troy, that particular corner, is becoming a bit of a freeway of cars. So while I don't necessarily disagree with you, most of our kids play in the backyard, but not all of them do. It's a quiet neighborhood, but we do have we have an issue with speed in that area. And so it does deter people, and they come ripping around that corner pretty quickly. So I just wanted to point it out. I mean, I see it every day. I do live in that neighborhood, so I am aware of the concerns for speed and safety in that particular area. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will, I'm in favor of the motion as worded right now. Not going to say I agree with the encroachment issue, but you know, the way that it is, I'd like to get staff feedback on this, so that's important before I make my decision on this. And on that note, I'm going to call the question. All those in favor? Okay, that's unanimous. Motion carries. Thank you very much. We'll move on. The next item is actually yours again, Councillor Olsen. You're going to give us information only, hotel working group update.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to provide a brief update on the Greater Victoria Hotel Working Development Group, as I have been sitting on that. As the final report was released on April 23rd, I did send out and circulate that report late to council. Sorry about that, but you have it now for review. It's also available for viewing on the Destination Greater Victoria website. The report confirms a growing gap between hotel demand and supply across the region. Hotel inventory has declined by about 25% since 2016, and we're now facing a need for roughly 2,000 additional rooms over the next decade. This has broader implications. It affects tourism, our ability to host events, and overall economic development. The report identifies a range of hotel types needed, including mid-scale and extended stay hotels, full-service hotels, and boutique options. Importantly, this growth is expected to be distributed across the region, not just concentrated in downtown Victoria. From an economic standpoint, meeting this demand could generate thousands of jobs, over 100 million annually in visitor spending, and significant tax revenues. However, the hotel development is complex. Key barriers include zoning constraints, permitting timelines, and overall project feasibility. The working group has put forward 6 recommendations focused on enabling development, including targeted zoning, streamlining approvals, improving staff capacity, and supporting partnerships, including those with First Nations. From Colwood's perspective, this aligns with our opportunity to support mid-scale, extended stay, and experience-driven hotel development that complements our waterfront, amenities, and our growing population. Overall, the report provides a clear roadmap. The opportunity is there, but it will require coordinated action to move forward. So again, I've circulated the report to council, and it is also publicly available on the Destination Greater Victoria website for those that are interested in reviewing the report in detail. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Councillor Olsen. We're going to move on to items 7.4 and 7.5. And I'd like to just thank Planning and Land Use Committee. I sat there and I watched the debate, and it was excellent, actually. A lot of great questions that were asked. You made it very easy, myself sitting as the mayor here, to decide which way I wanted to go on this. But anyways, to Planning and Land Use Committee, it was a great meeting. Anyways, on that note, we'll move on to 7.4, which is now the development variance permit for 3555 Producers Way. And do you have specific questions, Councillor Day? Was that? There we go.
Yes, I just wanted to understand better the overall look and the impacts to the neighboring residents, because it is increasing the height to 29 meters and it is a fairly massive building.
Yes. Actually, what I'll do is Councillor Olsen chaired that meeting. If you, Councillor Olsen, if you want to first have a crack at this.
We can tag team it. Mari and I.
Okay.
It was a good meeting, but just for some clarity, the requested variances for reference, especially for the public too tonight, the height, the roof coverage, the retaining wall. The committee felt that they were reasonable given the need to support the mechanical room overruns, which included the elevator, communications, ventilation systems, all of which are critical for the building's functionality. So that's why you were seeing the variance request for the height and the overall roof coverage. I think at the onset, I was concerned about the significant set of variances, but all three requests were driven by a combination of site constraints and the building's higher complexity of systems that were involved. So hopefully that helps offer you some clarity. I'm sure Mari can speak to some of those points as well.
Do you want to add anything, Mari?
Yeah, thank you very much. The architect is here as well, so he can speak to the form and character of the building. Because it is an institutional use, it does not require a development permit. And so this is our opportunity to review just the variances, not the form and character.
Okay. You okay with it?
Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, on that note, can I get a motion for the recommendation for 8.7.4, please? Okay, thank you, Olsen and Jensen. Discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the question. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Thank you very much. We'll move on to 7.5, which is the development variance permit for 3501 Olympian Way. And I'll go to Councillor Day again for you asked for questions. Councillor Day.
Thank you. I was just having difficulty, given that it's a very long and involved report, to understand the environmental impact on the wetland area adjacent to the development, because there is a reduced setback.
Councillor Olsen, do you want to, as chair, do you want to talk to this at all or send it to Mari? Okay.
Let Mari take it.
Okay, Mari, all yours.
Thank you for the question. So there's no impact to the environmental setback. They comply with all riparian setbacks. There's also a covenanted environmental setback on the east side of the property. So this variance is for the flanking street along Olympian Way, so it does not impact any of the environmental setbacks.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you. On that note, I'm going to look for a motion for the recommendation, please. Okay, thank you. Councillor Ward and Councillor Grove, please. Discussion? Seeing none, I will call the question. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Thank you very much. And 7.6 is, which is phase 2 engagement. Is this the one that you wanted to speak to? Okay, come on up then.
Thank you. Had to find it on my phone. The last week, I'm John English. I'm here on behalf of the Royal Bay Homeowners Association. Last week, Mayor and Council, 2 of our members watched traffic on Machosen Road. At 2:45, the traffic was very heavy. Vehicles on Hatley wanting to turn left were backed up and having a hard time trying to turn onto Machosen. They were having to wait a long time for an opening. At one point, a car obviously got frustrated and aggressively pulled out and blocked the northbound lane violently, forcing the line of vehicles driving north of Machosen Road to stop and wait until someone driving south of Machosen would let them in. This is not only badly organized, it's very dangerous. There's a day school near there, and so we wanted to make you aware of that. B, for 7 years, and you've all heard me say this so many times, that the Royal Bay Homeowners Association has been urging the city to prepare a master transportation plan that will support the scale and pace of development. Here we are. We're running up to the end of the 8th year and still crickets, nothing. Does anyone honestly believe that the work done by staff thus far and the survey that they're now proposing to undertake will actually help solve the increasing transportation problems the city and citizens are facing? Got more to say, but basically the Royal Bay Homeowner Association would like to offer its assistance in helping the city with this matter. We have contacts with people who have expertise in this field, and they would prepare a professional and proper survey that will actively address the city's major issues. Through the chair, I'd ask that the CAO get back to us and let us know if the city would like us to do this work for the city. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, John. Okay, my specific questions are as follows. I watched the infrastructure committee meeting, and it was good. Like, and I know it was hard. It was hard for the community to get their head around what the issues were, and very clear in my head. Now you got to watch it from as a third party to watch it, and you go, oh, geez, maybe this is how we should do it. But I'm not going to argue what was stated there, and it was good overall. But my big issue was the survey itself, and I looked at it and I found it. I tried to pretend I was filling it out right now, and I actually had my wife do it, who knows nothing about this, and I just want to make a couple comments on the survey itself, just in my opinion, in my humble opinion, and that's all it is. It's the formatting is kind of strange in it because some columns are wider for the same answer. Do you know what I mean? Like you're looking at it and I don't know if that's it's going to be fixed. So it's all the same width columns, like, so they're equal, like, you know what I mean? Because right now it looks like you're trying to weight them to answer some other way. It's just really awkward. That was my wife's pickup. I can't take credit for that one. And she says, well, they want me to fill something in here? And I just, no, I don't think so. Just a yes or no. And I guess the other, what wasn't really clear to us, either of us right now, is what, like, I know you give me a generic, what that survey is going to be used for, but we neither of us understood what it was. Like, what are you going to do with these results? That's what I wasn't too sure about. Like, what are you going to do with these results? And heck if I know. I don't know what you're going to do with them. And so I'm just making that comment right now because if you have a specific, this is the problem we're trying to solve. What problem are we trying to solve? And then you take it from that perspective. There's a lot of good questions in there. Now, I'm not saying it's all mucky. It's not. It's all. Most of it is pretty good, but a lot of it is sort of. I think we're asking the questions in the wrong way. Again, in my humble opinion. You know, I thought we were talking about roadways and, you know, more specific questions, arterials, feeders. Do you guys want, I thought the more direct question is, do you guys want sidewalks on these? Do you guys want bike paths on these? Do you guys want the separation lanes? Specific like that. Like right now, I couldn't quite figure out what you wanted to do with the information. So that's where I thought we were going to go with this. And that's the guidance I think you were looking for. I watched you on video there on the infrastructure committee, and it wasn't clear. It was very clear to that the confusion, and they kept on they went up high above the trees and they were down in the grass, up in the trees and on the grass. And I think it's because I know exactly what the issue was. It was really clear that you have to give these guys, here's the decisions we need from you, and here are your options, right? So I'm not being critical. I'm just saying it was so clear what was happening there, and everyone just, they were all over the place. We're up here and then we're down here, we're up here and we're down here. But I was hoping the survey would be a little more specific. What are we looking for? What are we really looking for input from people right now? and the target market, like we have this thing, those truckers that come around every Christmas, they have a say in this. So we should be surveying them too, just for transportation routes and all this stuff. But I was specifically hoping that's what we would be asking for, like let's figure out what problem are we trying to solve and what are we asking the citizens to do for us. So I think that was just, it's in some of them. I'm going to say, I think there's seven questions total. Just correct me if I'm wrong, Sandra. I believe there's seven.
There were about 8 questions.
Okay, 8. Okay. And so I just feel that, and there was a couple of them, 2 or 3 of them, no, 3 of them that were actually looked like they're active transportation. It's all one. So I guess this is what another thing I was struggling with, and it's a comment I guess right now. It's I didn't know if you're trying to address active transportation or if you're addressing the TMP, the Transportation Master Plan. It seemed like you're doing both at the same time. Do you know what I mean? It was very confusing to me. Like I said, I just did it as a neophyte. I pretended that I'm an ordinary person out there and I'm going to answer these questions. And I struggle with them. Like there's 4 or 5 of them. They're really good. You nail them right. You're right on the button. But the other ones, I wasn't too sure what you're trying to accomplish with them. So, yeah, please, my comments.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll go a little bit high level and then just redirect me if you want more specifics there. So one of the purposes of the 2026 TMP is to amalgamate active transportation into the TMP.
Right.
So you'll find that this survey does touch on both because we want answers on both. So it's important for us to ask questions about active transportation, the importance of it, how we want to see it implemented, those types of things, because the TMP is now having that embedded. We're no longer having an ATMP and a TMP.
Yes.
It's one TMP. So that's one of the goals of this survey. And one of the goals of the work we're trying to do is amalgamate that into one document instead of having 2 separate ones.
Right.
Sandra's probably going to already frustrate at me because the survey you've seen is a draft. So the formatting stuff, she's probably like, yeah, you sent it out too soon. So we can certainly clean up some of those easy low-hanging fruit things.
Yeah.
It was meant to be, we drafted it. We want to make sure the questions are correct and reflective of what we're trying to get across. Okay. So it will be cleaned up. It will be better. So that's no reflection on Sandra. That's on me. Okay.
No, there's no blame game here.
Oh, for sure.
We're just trying to make it really good.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
we want to make this like gender neutral, so that people aren't accusing other people. Well, this is for the biking gang, this is for the pedestrians, this is for the road sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
It's the TMP. I think we're trying to, and I understand we're trying to integrate the two. So I guess this is what I suggest, and I'm just trying to figure out if I should make a motion on this right now. When do you guys want to get this this survey out by? What's the deadline here?
Your Worship, there's no deadline from our perspective. Where I think we've had conversations about trying to do this right.
Yeah.
So to stay on topic,
You said the right thing right there.
Schedule, it's really up to us tonight.
Yeah. So I feel this is how I think we should maybe do this. A suggestion, and I'd love to hear your feedback, staff, on this. What I'm going to suggest is that you're almost there, but you're not quite there. And what I think what we can do is, because I don't think anyone in the public has seen this at all, right? This, except for the committee has seen it. But I saw there was some ambivalence at the committee on this, different emotions, that's for sure. But I think what I would like to suggest is that we just have one more look, sanity look at this, get it more neutral, and get the information you specifically need from the public on this. That's what I think is key to this. And then what I'm just going to suggest, so that we don't have to wait till the next ISC meeting, I think maybe we can do this through like a tiger team approach, a task force. So you guys come up with it, and then we bring in a bunch of maybe a few citizens, and you just apply it and let them use it and see how user friendly, and if they like it, and if that's what the results you get. I don't know. It's just a different approach. We've never done that as a city. I know that, but I think you, as you said, this is a very important thing to do for us. And I'm just trying to think outside the box here, you know, what's another way of doing this right now? Go ahead, Sandra.
Oh, well, I just want to make a couple of points. In terms of formatting, the survey will mostly be shared electronically. And so it won't, the column size and the formatting that you're referring to won't look like it does printed. That was just the easiest way to share the draft. So that all will be worked out. Most of the questions will randomize so that the notion of bias will be taken out of it.
I've heard that.
Any check mark question. And so I think we're probably closer than we think. We've also made some adjustments based on the conversation at the committee. And we're just looking for council's endorsement to move forward with user testing like you
So
suggested.
is the touch up one that you sent to us
Not yet,
in the
no.
report? Oh, and it's hard to make a
Yes, it
decision.
is.
Right. I mean, we're not looking at what you've adjusted it to. So it's tough for me to sort of say, yeah, I agree with this. I think I would like to see something, the newer version before myself personally, before I stamp it, because that's the only thing, the only part of the motion I was having trouble with, to tell you the truth. Everything else was okay. Councillor Jordison, you're next, and then Councillor Ward, then Councillor Day.
Thank you, Mayor. I guess my challenge with it was that I think we have to ensure that we have a strong understanding of the challenges that we're trying to address, and it's important. It's an important part of informed decision making. And I found it difficult. Like the facts kind of aren't there. I realize there's a like 90-page plus document, but I think that's a lot for citizens to digest. And I don't want to be the one to hold this up because I feel it's important to keep this moving. But I wonder, I think kind of what's missing or what could be easier for everybody to understand is maybe what is missing from the 2015 plan to now, like in what significant policy changes have taken place, and I feel like we're missing the mark on kind of what the traffic flow is going to look like at the end. And it's just hard to answer all these questions. And we're not putting out the facts like that 70% of trips in Colwood are still by vehicle and they're not by that sort of thing. I'm not sure, although I understand we have to mix the two reports, I'm not sure we should still be on the cycling discussion. And I think there's a huge miss here with how we can motivate or advocate for BC Transit to bring a Blink service over our way. And there's a great opportunity for a loop to happen right down Souk Road, down Veterans, Latoria, up Machosen, up Cali and back around. And I just I feel like we're not hitting hard on that either, because the transit is just barely touching Colwood. It's not helping move people around within Colwood. We have to go to Souk Road to Goldstream to catch it. So those are kind of my own comments. I just want to know that this is going to factor in the growth areas that are happening in Langford even, and how that's going to cause greater bottlenecks in Colwood, or how it might. And this is really important to set up how those routes and traffic flow is going to happen. So I just think we just need those questions are they just need to be a little bit better refined. But I really want to keep it going. So thank you for all the work you've done.
Councillor Ward.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. And some good points made already. I think without seeing an updated survey, I certainly was just going off what we had, and I thought it was a start. But in terms of best practices of a survey, I think we need to get to a point where the survey is comprehensive enough that it informs decision making, but it needs to be able to be repeated at regular intervals to actually ascertain, okay, are we measuring something against a plan like that that doesn't get measured doesn't get done, right? So we need to be able to to repeat the same thing. We've done a myriad of transportation sort of evaluations along the way, but they're all different in scope and in terms of reach. I wonder about the platform, and I know This is definitely not a criticism of communications of Sandra. We're limited to what we have. Let's Talk Colwood is a good platform, but we see it in this room. Those that are engaged, and those that aren't. And we need to reach people through different mediums, I think, for this to be effective and across the whole community. I'd also like to see sort of the objectives outlined, as Councillor Jordison said, sorry, excuse me, and a realistic scope. I think the current format, you put that out there. I hear from many people frustrated about traffic. And then when you start to have a conversation with them, it's not within Colwood core, it's the Colwood crawl. And we are not going to directly impact that in any meaningful way. That requires higher levels of government. That requires solutions like LRT, things that will move people. So what we need is a survey, I think, that that has ranked questions, like frequency questions, map-based questions, you know, that reaches across demographics, talks about equity and access to different modes of transportation. You know, we've heard the comment that, you know, most people out here still drive, and that's realistic. So we need to embrace a bit of a realistic approach to this. I met with two of the committee members on Friday, Mr. Conrad and Mr. Parkinson, and chatting with them. And, you know, what is happening in other regions isn't necessarily the template we need here. Like, I'm an advocate for protected cycle lanes. I think they make sense, but I liked their idea of one central protected bike lane corridor down Wishart into Royal Roads that connects up with the Galloping Goose. That's an efficient way to move people. Do we need protected bike lanes on every side street throughout Colwood? It's not cost effective. It's not necessarily going to be used at scale for decades. So there's a lot of different things that I think we can do. But just to cut to the point, I think with the survey, we need to, I would agree, and this is where, you know, I find myself in agreement with the Royal Bay Homeowners Association, is that we need a professionally designed survey that delineates our data objectives at the start. What is the objective of our plan? Where is it supposed to go? Determines things from people like their distance of travel, their purpose of travel, the time of travel, their method of travel. You know, ask those open-ended questions about people around all of these things, so, you know, they can outline it without confusion. When I look at this particular example we've got here, you know, and again, this is all we've got to go on. The first questions ask, you know, rank in order of priority these options. They're cycling, driving, walking, commercial transport. I'm not a commercial truck driver. I assume goods get to a store. Why would I rank that anything less than the bottom of that? I personally don't use transit. I'm sorry, I'm guilty. I drive. So again, that's down the bottom. But is that really an equitable approach? I think with improved transit, as Councillor Jordison alluded to, you know, we could create a much higher priority there. So I think we can't lead the respondents. We need to leave a much more open kind of format. And I wonder if in this case we're best served by going outside to a third party. Again, not a criticism of staff, but because they construct it and get the reach that we need. That's, I think, the biggest issue is we need to get people by phone. We need to get people by email. We need to get people across section of this community, and then be able to repeat that pattern in 1 year's time, 5 years time, 10 years time, so that we can actually create a data set that makes sense for the long term. So that's my 2 cents on it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Day.
Thank you. So I chaired this meeting, and I have been here since the original transportation master plan. And so there's a lot of things that are embedded in our thinking that don't always come across. For example, one of our big issues has been traffic cutting through existing neighborhoods. So when you go down Wishart Road past the fire hall, you're going to drive over about 3 speed bumps. They're the result of people shortcutting through that neighborhood previously, and a big effort was made to change those habits. That is also going on at Esquimalt Lagoon. That was another topic that was on the agenda that night. And there's a lot of history that goes into the way our transportation patterns are, and there's a lot of lack of options because we are in a historical area with streets that were built to serve a purpose that worked 50 years ago but may not work now as well as it did then, and it is constantly evolving. So I think the transportation master plan, for better or for worse, has been trying to do more than one job. It's more than meeting today's needs. It's trying to plan for the future needs, and it's trying to accommodate active transportation, walking, cycling, and transit ridership, which unfortunately, transit ridership is harder now than it was 30 years ago. I used to take transit regularly to work, and 35, 40 years ago. And that the bus routes that were available then on Souk Road are not on Souk Road anymore. You have to go to Langford for that. And when you go to Langford for that, you're going to end up in a whole different set of dynamics. So I guess there is work that still needs to be done on where cycling routes make the best sense. And that's work that, given that we had a lot on our agenda that night, I didn't even contemplate going there. I tried to give feedback on what we had so far. And also, we need to consider when we are allowing that traffic to flow through existing residential neighborhoods, not on collector routes. And we're going to ask the RCMP to do something about it. It'd be a lot better if we had just a single road for them to need to be set up on, rather than 12 different roads that they need to be set up on. So we're going to have to work at focusing some of our corridors and making things that make sense for improvements and ways to get transit access out here. I'm not sure that we have all of those answers. I absolutely support the repeated application of surveys and other methods of surveying, rather than just using the Let's Talk Colwood platform, and to perhaps get some clear-cut places where we can get those points of information from our community, what matters to them. But the only way we're going to get people out of being frustrated with the current situation outside of Colwood is going to be by advocating for some corridor work and some transit linkages. So I hope that we do get to the point where we can have an active transportation component in our transportation plan, that we don't only talk about cars and we don't forget about cars in order to do that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm at the stage right now where I'm looking for an alternate recommendation other than the staff recommendations. What I'm hearing right now, well, one of the other things I want to bring up too is that before we actually do, get into phase 2 consultation with the public, I think council should be able to see that amended executive summary. And I know it's in your report. You say that in your report that you're going to do that for us. So I agree. It should be in the recommendation, right? Let's call a spade a spade. The other thing too, I guess maybe what we're looking at is it sounds like people want a professional survey done. So we would recommend, I think that's a recommendation for that. So okay, Councillor Day. Do you need more wording? So, oh, sure. Councillor Day, go ahead, please.
So I recommend that that a report come back to council with information on a professional survey option to accompany the Let's Talk Colwood option. And with recommendations for intervals for future survey work.
Okay, and the second part of that is to make sure that we see the executive summary before you start phase 2. It's important. Okay. Can I get a seconder? I'll second it then. And discussion. Councillor Ward.
I frankly would have preferred a simpler motion,
Yeah.
Respectfully, just that, ask staff to seek, information on conducting a professional survey by a third party. I don't know if we needed to accompany Let's Talk Colwood. I'm not sure, that just conflates the existing channel with the professional survey. So I think if you're going to do a professional survey, you do a professional survey. We're not going to blend the results together. So I think it's just semantics, but I just don't understand why we would have one and the other, if that makes sense. That's just my take on that. So I'll propose an amendment to remove the to accompany Let's Talk Colwood. And I would just say the report come back to council with information on professional survey options, brackets. I would like to see us source multiple vendors for cost reasons, with recommendations for surveys to be conducted, intervals for future survey work as it's written. That's fine. Just simply removing the Let's Talk Colwood component.
Okay, friendly amendment then. We'll just do friendly.
It's fine if Councillor Day is amenable to that. We just remove the A to make it multiple instead of singular there. The first line.
Okay. And did you get the other part of it? That we want to see the executive summary before they commence phase 2. It's actually in your report. You've made a commitment there, but I think we should spell it out. No, it's just, and that council would like to see the executive summary prior to the phase 2 public engagement. That's what we want. Yes, you did commit to it, Joshua. But it didn't make it in recommendation.
If I may, your worship, the only thing it's semantics again, but we're in phase 2 engagement. So we've used the language of continuing. I think we'll just pause because hitting council, going to the committee last week, was phase 2 engagement.
Okay.
So I just don't want to get caught, red-handed that we've already started phase 2 because we're partway in it. So we'll pause phase 2 engagement.
Okay.
And we will not proceed with the survey or any public engagement until these commitments are fulfilled.
Perfect.
Thank you.
I'm happy with that. That's good. Oops. Councillor Jordison, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a question, and just so I understand, when we do surveys versus like have open up City Hall and people come in and we have like a, ideas fair type thing, where do we get the most bang for our buck? Like, where do we get the most information from?
The surveys are the most quantifiable. They're the easiest to report out on. In-person engagements tend to be more qualitative feedback. So both are valuable. And I would say that with this survey plan, which we'll revisit now, there would still be a comprehensive full engagement plan, communications and engagement plan, which would include in-person, right? We may have some time at the transit stop to talk directly to those folks, some time on a bike route. So that piece of the plan was not included along with the survey, but either way, with a professional survey or with any proposed survey, there would be a full engagement plan along with it.
Okay, yeah, I just think, not according to the motion or anything here, but just I just think that seeing the simulation was an eye opener for council, and it was really helpful. So something to think of in future. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Ward.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I confess I don't like the wording still of this. The grammar police in me has to step in. I'd like to make an amendment that it states that a report come back to council with information on professional survey options with recommendations on suggested intervals for future survey work, because that's what we're seeking here is best practice on how often it should be conducted.
Yep.
Second part is when you say executive summary, for clarity now, the executive summary, that does not include the survey results, correct?
No, it's just, it's the TMP rewritten in very briefly. So you're getting to the meat of what the TMP is. Because right now, there's 90 pages and you got to read through 55 or 58 pages before, I mean, your eyes are glazed over before you get to the meat of it. So the idea is let's rearrange this. We talked to engineering beforehand or a couple weeks ago about it after, you know, we were having a hard time wrapping our head around it. So they know what they're doing now.
Sure. And I guess my concern is just that will we be pursuing this because of time considerations? Will we be pursuing it concurrent to that? Like the way it looks right now, it's suggesting that we need to see the executive summary prior to commencing work on the survey. I would like to see.
No, that's the phase 2 public engagement.
Well, we're in phase 2 right now, so the survey is part of phase.
They're trying to get permission to go into it right now, actually. So.
No, we're in it.
We are.
Sorry, Your Worship, just to clarify again, we're in phase 2, based on what I'm hearing tonight. We will be pausing phase 2.
Okay.
The survey will not go out.
Okay.
We are already nearing completion of the redrafted executive summary.
Right.
We're also close on a much redacted or reduced TMP draft, both of which, along with a new survey, it sounds like we will bring not the survey, but options for pricing and a survey company. We'll come back to you.
So I guess my question through the chair to staff then is that, does it require additional wording to suggest that this can happen, it can be initiated concurrently, or is that just understood under the language in the current motion? Okay, thank you.
The, as they said right now, the executive summary is basically done already anyways. So just to let you know. Okay, any other discussion on the motion? We did get the motion, right? Okay, thank you. No, we had the proper seconder, right? I think, right. Okay, now I just want to make sure no other discussion. I'm gonna call the question. All those, any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay, we struggled through that. Let's get on to section 8, which is bylaws, 8.1. Over to you, Mr. CEO, Mr. Johnson, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is the 5-year financial plan bylaw number 2112-2026 for council's consideration of adoption.
Okay, motion, please. Thank you. Okay, Councillor Jensen, Councillor Olsen. Discussion. Seeing none, call the question. Any opposed? Okay, Councillor Day, Councillor Jordison opposed. And motion carries. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to 8.2, tax rate bylaw 2113-2026. First and second, third reading. Mr. Johnson.
So we have the tax rate bylaw number 2113-2026 going for first, second, and third readings.
Okay. Motion, thank you. Councillor Grove and Councillor Olsen. Discussion. Seeing none, call the question. All those in favor and those opposed. Seeing none, motion carries. Thank you. 8.3.
Colwood Land Use Bylaw number 151-1989, amendment number 231, HAH1 3415 Fulton Road, bylaw number 2105-2026, going for first, second, and third readings.
Okay. Okay. Councillor Olsen, seconder. Councillor Ward, discussion. Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Thank you very much. We'll move on. 8.4.
Sewer local area service enlargement amendment bylaws, all going for first, second, and third reading. We've got Colwood Main Sewer, local area service establishment loan authorization bylaw 598, amendment number 183, and that's for 569 Cairndale Road. Colwood West Sewer Local Area Service Establishment Loan Authorization Bylaw 625, 2001, Amendment Number 98, LAS enlargement for 569 Cairndale Road. Colwood Main Sewer Local Area Service Established and Loan Authorization Bylaw 598, 2001, Amendment Number 181, LAS enlargement for 2086 Suk Road, Building A. And Colwood Main Sewer Local Area Service Establishment and Loan Authorization Bylaw 598, 2001, Amendment 182 for LAS enlargement 2086 Suk Road, Building B, Bylaw 2107, 2026. And those can all be done in one motion.
Thank you very much. Motion, please. Councillor Jordison and seconder, Councillor Jensen. Discussion? Yes, Councillor Day.
Thank you. My question is for engineering and whether any of these extensions require upgrades to the sewer line in the roadway.
Thank you for the question. No, they do not.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Thank you. And last one, please.
Sewer Local Area Service Enlargement Amendment Bylaws, all going for adoption. It's Colwood Main Sewer Local Area Service Establishment Loan Authorization Bylaw 598, 2001. Amendment Number 179, LAS enlargement for 3211 Jacqueline Road. And Colwood Central Sewer Local Area Service Establishment and Loan Authorization Bylaw Number 480, 2001. Amendment Number 24, LAS enlargement for 3211 Jacqueline Road.
Okay. Mover, Jordison and Grove. Discussion? Councillor Day.
Same question, new location. Do either of these bylaws require upgrades to the sewer line?
No upgrades needed to take the sewer.
Thank you.
Call the question. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries unanimous. On that note, there being no further business, I shall adjourn the meeting. Thank you very much for attending, everyone.